So I was on a Vahonga multiplayer looking for diamonds, and I noticed this particular spot on the map hadn't been checked. This little inlet is a hot spot for Cape Buffalo. It's on the top coast of Vahonga. I was mainly looking for rare Cape Buffalo, as I've only shot one rare, which was a leucistic, and as I started to come across this inlet, this ran out of the bush to my side, which is a big horns diamond Cape Buffalo. There's no doubt that that was going to make diamond. That is the big horns for a legendary buffalo. So I was waiting for him to go across and see if he would stop and give me a broadside shot, or even just a trotting broadside shot I would take. But as the risk always is with Cape Buffalo, I got trampled whilst I was focusing on that big Cape Buffalo. So after I'd been killed, I came back to the inlet straight away and started to look around to see if he'd, in that time, come back, which is always a chance while it's still their own time that he may come back. But I was pretty confident he wasn't going to do that because I've seen it a lot with the bigger animals, that the bigger they are, the less likely they're going to come back to a need zone, especially not straight away. So I decided I'd just keep and have a look and just wait, be a bit patient, because there is a chance. But at the same time, with multiplayer, I don't want to hang around for too long because I always seem to get followed by other people in multiplayers. They try and follow me on either on foot or ATVs, and I didn't want that, and I didn't want, the chance of him spooking into someone else's radius. So I decided I would try and find the track and pick up that track. But I wasn't entirely sure which was his because there was a big mythical hanging around too that I had also seen flee in the same direction. But I was kind of confident that this was his track because this was the way he'd gone. So I thought I'd pick it up, follow it, and see if I could pick up on where he was again. So his track started to head up into this part of the brush, which is where I expected him to have gone, but I don't like following animals through this brush because I've found that they just tend to stay in the thicker stuff rather than coming out to where it's more open, which is where I want an animal to go so that I can keep an eye on it and get a shot off. So I started following the tracks through here, didn't really expect anything to happen. But he was right there, and he charged me, and he killed me. But how cool did that look, having a huge level 9 buffalo come charging straight at me? Like, just to see those horns coming out of the bush like that, I thought was pretty cool. So I wasn't unhappy, even though I got sent back to the lodge and had to come back again to see if I could get him. But I just picked up his track. He'd gone back across the inlet, back to the other side where he'd originally come from. So I started tracking him over here, thinking this would be better, to be honest, because it's a bit more open over here. I've found that they tend to not necessarily stay in the brush, but come back up onto the more sort of open plains, where there's only a few bushes, and they can't really hide a Cape Buffalo in there. So I was just looking around, just always checking, seeing if anything else has popped out, because you never know on multiplayer exactly what's around. And I had a look just to see if those scrub hair were anything interesting. So I was fairly confident that if I just kept following the tracks, eventually he'd end up coming into one of these more open plain-like areas, which would mean I could either get a trotting broadside shot or quartering away shot, something decent that I knew I would be able to get a shot into a lung, which is all you need now. Quick kill is no longer a thing. A single lung is perfect job for one of these. Those horns just look so cool. I've shot a couple of the big horn Cape Buffalo diamonds, but they just look cool, and that's where perfect. If they start walking away, quartering away, something like that, like he is here, with that quartering away, I knew I could get a single lung. Took it there, and kept an eye on the percentage, and he started to drop, just as I would expect with a single lung shot. And so I knew he wasn't going to go far, and I always pull out the binoculars to try and keep an eye on where animals go, just in case. As with multiplayer, sometimes tracks don't always work, but he died in a quite good spot up here on the cliff. Just look at those horns. they're just so impressive with that big curl and those thick bosses, which are the bases on the top of the head. They just look so impressive. Never get tired of seeing those. And we already know he's going to make a diamond because we knew it was a good shot from the lung shot. Yeah, nice big diamond. Beautiful. Always happy to add one of those to the lodge. Now, the next lake I went to in this same multiplayer server had a kudu level 5 male which was fleeing. He was actually fleeing in the opposite direction when I saw him, going towards this lake, which I guess there was a lion up in the thicker scrub, because there was also a couple of Cape buffalo in there that weren't very happy, and I had to avoid one of those as I came down to try and shoot this kudu. Now, I was fairly confident he was going to make diamond. Level 5s do tend to make diamond, and I'd already shot 6 kudu level 5 diamonds, so I was quite confident, and I just knew I wanted to wait for him to give me a broadside standing still, because they are a bit of a smaller target, and I'd rather not take any risks. And I thought I'd use the M1, because the M1 is one of my favourite guns. It's just so powerful and so accurate. I've had no problems with this gun. And as soon as he gave me that shot, I was going to take it. And yeah, that dropped him in his tracks. So I knew that was good. I couldn't see that I'd have hit anything other than the lungs. I trust the M1 completely. It's never let me down on any diamond animal, and I've shot a fair few now with the M1. It's got to be my favourite gun next to the 300. I mean, it's just such a good gun. If you haven't got it, it's in the Smoking Barrels weapon DLC. I cannot recommend it enough. It's such a good gun. And those horns, yeah. He makes diamond. I was so happy to see that. Although he was right on diamond requirement. So he wasn't very big. I was quite lucky that he did actually make it and it wasn't a troll. Always nice to add another one to the lodge, to the collection of kudu diamonds. I do love their horns, they're so cool with the spirals. So again, I joined a multiplayer session for Vrohonga, and I spotted this herd of Wildebeest, which had a max weight estimate level 4 gold Wildebeest in it. I kept checking through the herd just to make sure there was no level 5s, but I was pretty confident that looking at that level 4, they had the minimum diamond horns, because they have a certain little spiral on it, like a little twist, and it looked like, even at this distance, like he had those horns. So I was keeping an eye on him, seeing where he was going to go, and I knew that I could make that shot with the M1 quite easily, as long as he stayed at the front of the herd, which he obliged very nicely, but there was a female that kept standing just in front of him, so I just waited to be sure that she was clear and took the shot. I could tell by the way the percentage started to drop that it was a good shot, so I was happy with that. I knew he wasn't going to go far. Walking up on him, I could see the horns again, and I was still pretty confident that they looked big enough, but I'm never 100% definitely certain that they're going to make it until the screen comes up. And oh my god, when that screen came up and it said diamond, I still can't believe it. I'm still so pleased to have a diamond gold wildebeest. I mean, I have always loved this fur type, and just wow, I'm so happy with that. Again, I joined another multiplayer. This time it was for Yukon Valley. The session was at night, so I initially wanted to hunt wolves, but the area was already being hunted by someone, so I decided I'd come and check these 3 lakes down the bottom end of the map. And there's always ducks down here. And I could see that there was this one level 2 that was big, because he had the 7 estimate on the trophy, and they only need to be 7.2 to make diamond, so I took him, hoping that maybe he might be one of the level 2s that makes diamond. I've had one before, waited for him to just float in, And yep, he made diamond. So just another nice diamond for the trophy lodge. Not a bad hunt at all. Thank you guys for watching. I will hopefully keep doing more of these if you guys like watching these. Yeah, thank you very much.